Good morning. It's 11:30ish on a Tuesday morning. The sun has gone away. I was hoping for a lovely sunny morning today. The washing's out, but I think it's going to rain. This is my luck on a Tuesday, and I'm trying to do all my tasks. Hoping that some lovely people will join us this morning, but there certainly is a shift towards not needing this anymore, perhaps, which is good, which is nice, because it means people are returning to a little bit of normality, and that maybe they're back at work. Hi, Ralph. And that maybe they, maybe don't need this practice on a morning. So we might begin to wind down these practices as we go. So today's practice, we're going to look at cultivating some more kindness. We've done a kindness practice before when it was kindness week, but we have had a number of people this week talking about how they've kind of just lost a bit of engagement with what's going on in the world. They're a little bit despondent, a little bit bleh, for want of a better word. So we thought it might be quite nice to do a bit of kindness practice that also ends in this session with a bit of an idea that we could wish upon a star and maybe send some goodness into the world, and maybe we'll get some of that back too. And sometimes if we can reflect on maybe in the last week or so whether we have been kind to one another or whether we haven't. Hi Erica, thanks for joining us. So maybe there's been a moment in your week where you have been kind to someone, or someone has been particularly kind to you. Maybe just taking a moment to reflect on that and go, how did that feel to either send that kindness out or to receive that kindness in? And if you want to, at any point in the session, just drop a note of your kindness. It might be really nice to make a habit of being kinder. And there's this beautiful lady that passed away recently called Fiona Munro, and she started Random Act of Kindness Mondays. So why don't you bring in a random act of kindness any day you like. Make it totally random. It'd be really, really lovely for you to do that. So we're going to practice experiencing kindness today in this session. We are going to get into our meditation practice in the very same way as we always do. But I'm going to lead you through some guided words, just thinking about kindness for ourselves and others. And for those of you who can't make it today to the live, I'm so pleased that things are returning to some degree of, activity in a different space. And it's really lovely that you've been able to join us, but maybe it's the start of things returning back to a world where you don't need this at 11:30 on a Tuesday. So all of the videos will be saved and they will be there on Facebook for you to watch, which is great. But let's do this amazing practice and share it with your friends, or watch it later when you're in your bed, whenever you like, because it's a really lovely chilled out practice as always. Shall we give it a go? We're going to check in the normal way, so that's really important. So even in your morning you might have been rushing about doing various bits and bobs, and sometimes if we have got lots of hats, so mummy, worker, whatever your hat is today, daddy, then you might get stretched and pulled in different directions, and quite often we don't stop to take into account how we're doing. Hi Jackie, thanks for joining us. It's really nice to see some familiar faces on here and some new ones too. So when we come to practice, we always check in with ourselves, and this is your time. This is your time to go, how do I feel today actually? And what do I need from today? So it's just this short check-in practice. Now, I do have a machine on in the background. Hopefully it won't make too much of a distraction and you can't hear it, but you might hear the odd murmuring of sound. But then that's life. I'm sure there's the odd murmuring of sound within your own space that you're working in this morning. So let's begin with that check-in then, shall we? Finding that comfortable position wherever you've chosen for practice. Maybe bringing your eyes to closed if that feels okay to do so, or allowing your eyes to come to a soft gaze. And we begin to arrive in this space, we're just going to take a nice long deep breath in and all the way out. And if that felt good, just continue to breathe in that way, resting the breath, beginning to slow ourselves down for this practice. And then here is the question: how do I feel right now in this moment? And maybe finding that word or phrase that sums up just how you're feeling today. You don't have to be looking for a more positive word or resisting whatever negative a word is arising, but just noticing your preference here for what's coming up. And maybe just allowing it to be just whatever it is here. Allowing it to feel for a moment. Knowing that you're okay with whatever's arising. Knowing that there's something sticky there, that on the next in-breath and the next out-breath we can move in a different way. And so we turn our awareness on the next in-breath to our physical body here, and we check in with that too. So maybe just noticing how our body feels to come to stillness, how our body feels to come to rest. We might notice our discomfort and pain when we sit like this, and so we just make a note to attend to that at a later stage. But also noticing points in the body that might feel quite nice, that might feel lightness. And just checking in with those points too. And now we've checked in with our body and with our mind, let's take a nice long deep breath in again, breathing all the way in and all the way out, nice and long and slow. And then gently allowing our eyes to come back to open. So one of the things you might just ask yourself as you go about your day is just ask yourself how you're doing physically and what's happening up here. And it means that you can move into a space with knowing exactly how you feel and being able to respond in that different way. Especially if things are sticky. We don't want to sit with stickiness for the whole day. So we're going to do this practice of experiencing kindness. Now, if you're new to this practice or you're new to our sessions, then find a comfortable position. You don't have to sit like a yogi. You can lie down, you can be sitting at your desk, you can be in your bed, which is lovely if you want to be in your bed for this practice. The intention is not to fall asleep, but if you do so, maybe your body needs a rest, so that's okay. But get nice and comfy, and sometimes when we come to sit for practice, we can get cold. So I've always got my trusty blanket with me. I know that some of you do too. So getting nice and comfy, feel supported in your posture. So what that means is if you're sitting in a way that you think, this is uncomfortable, I'm not going to be able to sit like this for 10 minutes, then please move and get comfy. This is your time. This is your time off from everything else that's going on in your day. So make sure that you look after yourself. So we're going to begin. We're going to begin with the sound of the singing bowl, and we end in exactly the same way. And I will guide you fully in this practice, so even if you're new to us today or you're watching this at a later stage on your own, please just go with what the words are saying and just allow your experience of the practice to be what it is. So let's begin. Let's begin by taking a nice long deep breath in, breathing all the way in and all the way out, nice and long and slow. And whether you're joining us live or watching this on catch up, just noting your motivations for coming, for watching. How will this practice help you and those around you? And our intention for this practice is to cultivate and experience kindness. So we're going to begin in the normal way by breathing nice and deeply. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 4. Breathing all the way in and all the way out. So we begin to settle the breath in the body, allow it to soften, allow it to be felt in the body, slowing the breathing down. We might use the phrase, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And maybe taking a few more breaths here, in this way. And then letting go of counting and letting go of the phrasing, allowing the breath to return to a natural rhythm, one that feels good for you today, whatever that feels like. And then we're going to turn our awareness to our posture here. So perhaps if we're sitting, maybe we can lengthen through the spine, allow the top of the head to be drawn towards the ceiling, away from the lower half of our body. We can perhaps soften through the forehead, notice if we're frowning, allowing the eyes to be closed but a softness to them. Our cheeks are soft, our jaw is slack. Our shoulders drop away from our ears, our arms and hands, relaxed, soft, in our lap or by our side, allowing gravity to do its job here. And we might be able to even feel that we're holding tightly to our tummies. Maybe we can let that go and soften and relax here too. We can feel the weight of our body on the chair or the cushion, or if we're lying in our bed, perhaps we can notice the points of contact our body makes with whatever's beneath us here. And we can begin to feel maybe just a softening on the exhale as we breathe out. And notice that we're held here by gravity doing its job, unconditionally supported by the ground. Nothing to do, nowhere to be but here in this practice. So we might already begin to feel like we're coming into rest. And if we're not, and if we're still lost in thought or perhaps feeling agitated today, maybe we can notice even on the exhale a softening into this space. A wee small space to move from tension to maybe one more of relaxation. And maybe we can begin to feel the breath rise and fall in our body. So as we breathe in and as we breathe out, noticing if you can feel your breath moving your body physically. We might feel the movement in our tummy, in our chest, the rise and fall at our shoulders, or even the inhale and the exhale at our nose. So beginning to notice where we feel our breath the strongest. And if we get lost in this practice, distracted by whatever's here, maybe we can allow our mind to focus strongly on the inhale and the exhale, the breathing here. Taking some comfort that the in-breath and the out-breath automatically happen here. Our body knows what to do in supporting us. And maybe noticing even at the beginning of this session whether you're judging yourself in your practice on how you're doing it. Maybe whether you're judging the guidance or the sounds that you can hear in your space. Just noticing if you can allow yourself to be a little bit kinder to both yourself and the experience of this practice. And how might it feel to change our mindset to be kind to ourselves, to be kind to those that are in this space, rather than allowing our preference or judgment to be felt fully here? what could I reframe about this moment in practice, even in this first few minutes of breathing in and breathing out? Where am I finding a judgment, and where could I reframe? And maybe asking ourselves this question: can I recognize and notice when I'm being kind to myself? Would that be possible? Can I notice when others are being kind to me and perhaps really feel it? Taking a moment to notice and to fully absorb the kindness when it's given. Do we know that we don't spend any time on noticing the kindness? And if you can bring to mind that feeling of kindness, knowing how it feels to receive kindness or thoughts, maybe even feelings, can we begin to feel that in the body? And can we bring to mind someone that we feel might benefit from our kindness? Maybe someone that's close to us, or maybe someone that we don't know very much about, but maybe somebody we know might feel good to receive some of our kindness. Maybe we can wish some goodness and some kindness for this person. And we're going to do this with a visualization. So imagine now, in your mind, a dark blanketed sky. You might notice it's not black, but maybe deep purple and deep blues. And if you've ever visited the countryside away from the city, you might already have this vision in your mind of this dark blanketed sky full of crystal clear stars. And you might have already experienced the wonder and amazement of this clear, dark sky full of stars. Maybe we can notice one particular star that burns brightly in that sky. One that draws our attention and holds us there for a moment. Maybe it flickers and changes as we begin to gaze at it. But as we find that star, we're also going to consider this person that needs to receive our kindness today. And we're going to send them some kind words. And perhaps you can think of your own, but here are some to consider. I wish all the happiness for you. I wish that you never have to suffer. I wish that you are always loved. I wish you to know I'll always be here. And as you wish these things on this star for this person, perhaps the star will burn more brightly, and we can imagine the person receiving these kind words with a smile, and as they do, we can feel the warmth of kindness within us too, knowing that we've sent those kind words to that person and they've received them. As we let go of that visualization of the sky now, we allow that to drift from our mind. And we come back into our posture here in the present moment, our eyes still closed, still in practice, but coming back to our body if we've been away with the stars. Feeling our body physically here, connected with the ground, supported by gravity, held in this space. And as we breathe in and breathe out deeply in any way that feels good, we might feel the warmth of kindness, we might feel the slowing of our breath, we might take some comfort that the breath is here with the inhale and the exhale, just as we did in the beginning. We might feel at rest. We might have allowed our thoughts to just drift for a while. And if we found this practice difficult today, knowing that it's okay, and let's be kind to ourselves in this practice. Maybe making the intention to practice again. So as we come to the close of this practice, let's drop in why we might be grateful for attending this session or watching it on catch up. How might this practice benefit you and others around you? And as we come to the close of this practice now, let's take 3 long breaths in and out, breathing all the way in to the bottom of our lungs and breathing all the way out nice and long and slow, knowing that the inhale will always follow the exhale. Very slowly and gently beginning to wriggle fingers, wriggle toes, beginning to stretch through any tightness and pain and discomfort. Let's give ourselves a big yawn and a stretch. Well done everybody that watched from the beginning right to the end, and for those that dipped in and out, we'll maybe catch up later. But I'm hoping that you managed to cultivate some kindness there for yourself in your practice and for others around you. And hopefully whoever you sent that love and kindness to has received it. And maybe if you know them, maybe you can talk about that with them or share the practice with them. And I'm sure when you do see them, you will be able to feel that little bit of love and kindness that you sent them. So that's really all I wanted to explore with you today. It'd be really lovely if you drop a comment or anything in to let me know about how your practice was. Feel free to message me at any time to ask me any questions about the practice or Tranceform itself. I think, as I said, we'll be running these for August, and then that might be the end of that. But hopefully see you all soon. We still have spaces on the workshop on Thursday if you want to come along for a bit more in-depth inquiry. That's at 7 on Thursday night, so just drop me a message. Have a wonderful Tuesday, because it is Tuesday, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.